US. Okay. He's done banking, like I said, doing branch development for UBA over a period of time. And he's also done, sorry, just admitting some other people. So he's also worked in different areas of engineering. He read estate management by University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He's of the pioneer set of DSC Technical High School, and he's currently based in the US, bachelor degree in estate management, and presently he is the co-founder of Viva, a cab sharing platform that is being developed in Nigeria and hopefully in Africa. So that is his current project. Zubi believes in Africa, and he's termed himself after one of his mentors, Tony Elumelu, as an Afripreneur. Please join me to welcome Zubi Agboifo.
Thank you very much, Austin, for that very wonderful introduction. I was basically looking at myself and wondering if I was the one you were talking about, or there was some other Zubi, that you're talking about. But anyway, thank you so much. And without much ado, I'd like to say a good afternoon from this part of the world. It's the 26th day of February, and honestly, it's a very beautiful day out there and a wonderful day to have this very all-important webinar. To each and every one of you, I welcome you to this edition of the THSOSA Mentor-Mentee Scheme, which is a webinar, like Austin said, powered by the Delta Steel Company Technical High School Old Students Association. Like I have been introduced, I'm Zubi, and I am of the 1989 set. And I will be moderating today's discourse, which is themed Plugging in a Side Hustle to Your Personal Financial Plan. When Austin approached me to moderate this, he did say one thing. He said that there's no one other person who can moderate this as well as I can. And I was wondering what he meant by that. But the key thing is that I love hustle and I love side hustle. And it's something that I have done over the years. And I must tell you that if done properly and done well, it pays off. But, this webinar is not about me. It's not about anything that I have done. It's about the THS old students and, affiliates benefiting from the Mentor-Mentee scheme. And I must confess that Austin and team and our amiable president, President Ajuya, you guys have done a very great job in putting this together, and the impact is, gradually developing. And I know that this will bring a whole lot of impactful benefits to every member of the DSC Technical High School Old Students Association. Without much ado, like I said, the theme for today is plugging in a side hustle to your personal financial plan. This comes from, two different approaches, the side hustle and then your personal financial plan. I'll encourage you to listen attentively, because we do have someone who is very much grounded and has really made a mark in this area of personal financial coaching and planning. And I'd like to introduce our speaker. Our speaker is none other than Tobore Olumoye. She is a graduate of chemical engineering and personal finance, and she is a personal finance coach with over 18 years cognate experience working in the financial services sector. She started her career in the banking sector, and it saw her working in different areas of banking: branch operations, retail, and small and medium enterprise marketing, branch management, customer service, quality, premier banking, and financial planning. And Tobore's the high demand on her side hustle and services necessitated her exit from paid employment to focus on reducing the high rate of financial illiteracy currently plaguing the African continent. In her day-to-day hustle, she helps individuals and teams set up financial plans and achieve financial clarity. Over the past years, she has consistently provided exciting and transformative solutions to individuals and groups within the private and public space. Tobore is a publisher and has written several inspiring books on financial planning to complement her financial planning crusade on the African continent. Some of her published books include From Banker to Business, a book for anyone interested in running a business; Make Better Financial Decisions, a book on personal financial planning; Make Your Money Make Sense, a detailed personal financial workbook with a robust budgeting template; Coco, the Money Bug, a personal finance book for children. Tobore is a past area director of Toastmasters International, and she has won multiple speaking awards within and outside the shores of Nigeria. Her business interests includes consulting, training, baking, clothing, and public speaking. She's an advisor on boards of several companies and NGOs, and she strongly believes that Africans will do better if they know better. Tobore lives in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, with her husband and 3 lovely children. Before I welcome Tobore to the podium, just a few, ground rules to help us, keep the house up and doing. Please, I'd like to encourage all of us to mute our mics if you are not talking. And then if you need to talk, you can unmute it. We're going to have opportunities to have some interaction with our speaker, but during the period that she's speaking, I would like to encourage us to all remain mute. If you do have any questions, you can, indicate by raising your hands, and we'll get you to either, ask your questions, or you can type it in the chat and I will go through it and I'll pick the questions for her to answer. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all once again for being here today. And I'd like to hand the podium over to Tobore Olumoye. Tobore, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Zubi. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Tobore, just before you start, there's a teaser for everybody. So I will just put it up. I hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I will just bring on the teaser. So it's a quiz. So those that have calculator or whatever, 4-figure table or steam table, please bring it out. So it's a simple question. If you invest 10,000 naira in the stock market every year, 10,000 naira, and you earn 8% on your portfolio, right, every year, how much money would you have after 5 years? And how much money would you have after 30 years? So I give the sharp guys 10 seconds to calculate. So because we are very nice people, we've given a multiple choice for those that want to do tubu. A, after 5 years, you will get 50-something thousand. And after 30 years, you will get 900,000. B, after 5 years, you will get 78,000 or 1.6 million in 30 years. C, you will get 63,000 or 1.2 million in 30 years. And D, you will get 105,000 or 106,000 approximately, or 2.5 million in 30 years. Can we choose? Type your answers in the chat box. I can see A, A. Any more answers, please? Type your answers in the chat box.
Does it have to be the correct answer or the answer that is more attractive to us?
Just choose the one that you think is more attractive to you. Type your answer in the chat box. Wow, we have some very strong mathematicians in the house. Everybody is choosing A. Any more answer? Okay, so let me try to give the answer. C is the answer. So if you save 10,000 Naira every year, by the time you are retiring from civil service after 35 years, you'll probably be 1.2 million Naira richer. And 10,000 apparently is not a lot of money. So just a short message that this is one of the powers of compounding. That's saving less than 1,000 a month. So I guess, Speaker, please, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Austin, and thanks for waking our brains up. Good evening, everyone. I suspect you are feeling well rested. Unfortunately, Austin, if you don't mind, please stop sharing screen.
Okay.
So they can see my face and cram it very well. Because this face shall haunt your dreams tonight.
Okay, I think I have stopped.
Okay.
Okay, stop sharing. Yeah.
It's such a pleasure to be in your midst today. I wish we could spend 45 hours together. Unfortunately, we can only spend 45 minutes. So I am going to try to perform the miracle of squeezing as much information as possible into the next 45 minutes of your time. To give us an idea of what I'll be doing with you tonight, I'll just quickly run through the short content we'll be doing together. To get you into the mood of what we're going to do later today, we will start with an abridged pre-evaluation of your current state of your personal finance. We will look at the components of a personal financial plan. We will try to respond to the question of what exactly a side hustle is, why it's important to your financial plan, and we will look at some tips to start a side hustle, a few mistakes to avoid, and then we will bid ourselves a very good night. Do you have a piece of paper with you? I pray you do. Do you have a biro to write? I hope you do. Or something to write with. Grab a paper towel, grab your eye pencil, and answer the following questions. Before you start answering, on that piece of paper, put today's date, 26/02/02/22. Today will mark the turning point of your life if you take the following exercise very seriously. I am going to ask you 10 very simple questions. Extremely simple. All you have to write on your paper beside number 1 to all the way to 10 is yes or no. Put a Y beside number 1 or an N beside it. That's all I'm asking for you for the next few minutes. Are we good to go? Zubi, you will be my muse for tonight. So once you tell me you're good, I will continue. So Zubi, are we good to go? Have you written 1 to 10 on your piece of paper? Fantastic.
Yes, you are. Yes, I have.
Okay, so typically when you sit with me for a financial planning consultation, the very first exercise we will do is an icebreaker. And I will ask you 25 simple questions. Then you will answer them. Those questions put you in the frame of mind for the financial planning session. I have picked 10 of the simplest of those questions to ask you tonight. It will be a fair representation of the 25 questions. So here we go. Question number 1, have you ever sat down with a professional financial planner to set up your financial plan before? Have you set up your financial plan with a professional financial planner? Yes or no? So just put it on your piece of paper. Question number 2, are you satisfied with your present financial condition? Are you satisfied with your present financial condition? In or in? Question number 3. So ladies and gentlemen, if you were in this world, if you were on this continent or on this, where are we? In the human kingdom or animal kingdom in 2020, something happened. For a lot of people, they were unable to move around, they were unable to earn, but they were still spending. So the question I'm going to be asking you right now in question number 3 is tied to that experience in case you cannot relate with it. Question number 3, if you do not earn anything for the next 6 months, if you do not earn a farthing, a kobo, a shilling for the next 6 months, can you survive? In other words, can you continue with your current lifestyle for the next 6 months, spending only from your liquidity savings account? The question I'm asking you is, if you do not earn any extra money, if you do not earn any income for the next 6 months, so from now till August or September, if no money comes in, can you survive on your savings in your liquidity savings account? So I am not asking you to go sell a house to survive. I'm not saying liquidate your stock. I'm saying what is in your liquidity account? Can you survive on it? Yes or no? Question number 4. If you are more than 30 years old and you're on this call, do you have at least 72 million naira in your retirement savings account? In your retirement savings account, do you have at least 72 million naira in your retirement savings account? In case you're wondering where 72 came from. We have a chat box, right? Also, let me work with you. You will represent the audience today. Yeah, when would you like to die? When would you like to die? If you had your wish.
Let me see. Have I ever given you the thoughts? Probably anywhere over 80 years old. 80 Fantastic. Years old. Yeah.
Zubi, you're a big man. It's big people that want to die at 80. Most of those in the lower income brackets want to live till 100 and something. People who don't have money generally want to be on this earth forever. So Zubi, let's work with 90 when we will still have some teeth in our mouths and a few friends and some of our children will still be here to keep us company. So if you're on this call, I put it to you that you will retire at 60. And please don't tell me you will work till you die. No, you will not. Your productivity will dwindle to almost 0 when you get to 60. So even if you will be doing something, you'll basically be converting your side hustle or your hobby to a full-time engagement. You will be retired. That's the truth. And let's say you die at 90. What this means is that you're going to spend 30 years in retirement. If we assume, and this is, by the way, an extremely ridiculous assumption, but let's assume it anyway, that you will spend 200,000 naira every month in retirement. Meaning, therefore, that if you were to be retired today, beginning today, you will need at least 200 naira for subsistent living. And if you haven't done this mathematics, please go home and do it tonight. Ask yourself, project yourself into the future. 30 years from now, 20 years from now, 15 years from now, when I turn 60, how much am I likely to spend every month in retirement? And before you write the answer, understand that when you retire, you will be too old to eat a lot of the stuff you're eating today and getting away with. Your doctors will begin to connive with one another and encourage you not to eat loy, no fufu, no poundo, no rice. In fact, don't eat anything that can fill your belly. You will eat lots of lots of spinach, cucumbers, leek, and all of those other useless vegetables that do not fill the belly. Brethren, how much cucumber will you eat that will bellyful you? But your doctor is going to tell you that is what you will eat. So your cost of living will spike because you're going to start eating healthy. You will also be spending a lot of money on what are supplements, because your doctors will tell you you are no longer able to absorb the minerals directly as efficiently as you used to. You will spend more money on Medicare. You will spend more money on some children that maybe do not belong to you, because you will say you can't run around, you will need a driver, you need a gardener. If you are with your sugar lollipop, you may want to go on a vacation once a year. Please do the math according to your lifestyle. However, for the purpose of this class, we want to assume that 200,000 in today's money. And let me say this again, we are going to assume returns on investment is equals to 0 and inflation is equals to 0. So your 200,000 will still work for the 30 years of your retirement. 200,000 times 12 months of a year is, Zubi, 2.4 million. 30 years is 72 million naira. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how we got the 72 million. The question I'm asking you is that 72 million naira available today in your retirement savings account? If it is not available, please don't tell me that when you build house, you go to come they collect the rent share, you get one land where you go sell when you retire. Please, that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about liquidity in retirement. Many retirees today are solvent, but they're illiquid. So they own property, but they don't have money to eat on a daily basis. They can barely buy their medication because they have land. In fact, they are on their own property. But are you going to sell the property you're living in to feed? The question I am asking you anyway, in question number 4, simple. Do you have 72 million in your retirement savings account? Yes or no? Question number 5. Do you have all of the money required for all of the education of all your children in an education fund? Do you have all of the money required for all of the education of all of your children readily available in an education fund? What does this mean? Let's do a little bit of mathematics again. Let's assume your cost of education, educating a child in basic education is 100,000 naira a term. 100 a term is 300,000 naira a year. Your child will spend a minimum of 10 years in basic education. Basic education is all the way from creche to the end of primary school. Meaning, therefore, that you will be spending 300,000 times 10 years, which is 3 million naira on basic education. Please, this money is not for diapers, it's not for food, it's not just the money you pay to the school, remittance. Secondary education, we can assume safely that you will spend perhaps 1 million naira a year, because we are dealing with now the lower middle class. 1 million naira a year for boarding school for secondary education. 1 million times 6 years, 6 million. Let's assume that your child loves you and does not want to study medicine and wants to study a 4-year course. And this child will spend 4 years in the university. By the way, if you send the child to a 1 million naira a year secondary school, you cannot send the child to anything less than probably a private university or a federal university, or at least a decent university. If your child is extremely smart and can pass and get into a federal university, that's fine and lucky for you. If not, you'll probably send the child to a private university. If you are going to do that, you need at least another 1 million naira a year for your university education. That is 4 million naira. Zubi, how much do we have now? We had 3 million plus 6 million plus another 4 million. Ladies and gentlemen, the question I'm asking is, do you have 13 million naira for that child seated in an education fund for that child? And the way I'm looking at some of your names on this call, you people don't look like people that want to have one Peking. You probably have 2 or 3. And I'm saying, I've seen some tribes here, that means you will have 4. Please, the question I'm asking is, this 13 million multiplied by 3 or 4 or 2. So for example, you have the 39 million seated in an education fund account for your children's education. Do you have it? If you don't have it, please answer no in question number 4. Because if you don't have that money, I beg you in the name of God, don't die. Stay alive and train your children. Because if anything happens to you, those children will not go to school. Look around your family very well. Can you identify anybody that looks like he's going to spend 13 million to train your child when you are no mother? I don't think so. So if you don't have the money, stay alive and train your children. Anyway, that's question number 5. Question number 6. Do you own a house? You own the house if your name is on the title and you can transfer the title. So what I mean is you are the owner of the house if you can sell the house. Question number 7. Do you have investments that reduce your taxable income? Do you have investments that reduce your taxable income? Question number 8. Do you have sufficient life insurance cover? Question number 8, do you have sufficient life insurance cover? So it's sufficient if you can take care of your dependents if you're not here. Keep them in the lifestyle they're used to and ensure they reach all the goals you had initially set out for them. That's what sufficiency means. Question number 9, do you invest in shares and stocks of companies? Question number 10, I see all of you on this call, All Students Association, meaning you're more than 18 years. If you're on this call, I beg you in the name of God, let your number 10 be yes. Have you written and registered your will? Have you written and registered your will? That's all. Those are the 10 questions I have for you tonight. Now count your no's. Please don't count the yeses. I know for some people it's easier to count yes and do minus. No, don't do it. Count it, take the pins and be counting the no. Let your body be pinching you as you're counting. Please don't share your answer with anybody on the call. Keep it to yourself, but note it. If you have more than 3 no's on your piece of paper, ladies and gentlemen, you are in financial crisis. And you must fix it as quickly as possible. This exercise you have just done is to bring to the fore the state of your personal finance. You are the one who has answered the questions. The questions are not strange questions. They are real questions. They are questions that have to do with your life. These questions are there to remind you that making money is not a joke. You must make more money or you will reduce your goals, you will reduce your plans, you reduce your expectations. So, why then should we be bothered about our financial plan? Why then should we be bothered about a side hustle? What is the importance of a financial plan? Unfortunately, we do not have enough time to dwell on a financial plan today. But I will quickly say to you that I have derived an acronym, so you can use this to remind yourself in case you forget, that for your financial plan to be robust enough, for it to be a true plan, it must contain what I call the acronyms as CRIERS, C-R-I-E-R-S, CRIERS. So as you are crying, CRIERS. The first C is for children's education. You must have a plan for your children's education. And even if you don't want to have children, you have children that you are taking care of, please plan for them. It is an aberration to pay the school fees of a child in primary 1 and not plan to pay for primary 2. It is the worst thing you can do to that child. So if you have started, please try and continue. So C, the first C, children's education plan. You must have a plan for your children's education. The first R is a risk plan. You must have a plan in place for loss of life, loss of good health, loss of limb, loss of cognitive abilities, critical illness, loss of assets. You must have a robust risk plan in place. By the way, each of these things is a long training on its own, but let's just summarize it. I is an investment plan. You must have a robust investment plan in place for your finances. E is an estate plan. So you must have a plan for estate and legacy. When you are no longer here, what happens? What happens to the people you leave behind, to the assets you leave behind, the remnants of your estate, so to say? You must have a good estate plan in place, and it has to be legally secure. So, estate plan. The second R is a retirement plan. If all goes well, you will grow old. When you grow old, you will retire. When you retire, you can no longer earn. What you are doing today should provide for such a time as you are unable to earn as you currently are. So you must have a very robust, really, really robust retirement plan in place. And the last letter is S, a streams of income plan. You must have a plan to make more money to support your current earning potential. And it is that S, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be dwelling on in the next few minutes, the streams of income plan. Where does your money come from? What is in your money? How do you make money? Do you have, and by the way, one last thing, in your financial plan, you must have an effective budget, but that's assumed. I'm assuming you already know that. Your budget must be robust. Most of us, I don't know what to do as budgeting. I try not to talk about budgeting in short classes because budgeting can throw me off course. I don't know what we call budgeting, but please just get a robust budgeting plan in place. There's no, every other thing we have discussed, the criers is hinged on the premise that you have a robust budget template or a robust budgeting behavior in place. So let's talk about a side hustle. And this, by the way, is excruciatingly important when you understand those no's you saw at the beginning of the session. You can see, therefore, that you are not nearly making enough money, not nearly. And we'll talk about why in a jiffy. You need a side hustle. If you have a 9-to-5 or you have a core business, you need another business. You need another way of making money. So what exactly is a side hustle? A side hustle is simply a job or occupation that brings in extra money beyond your regular job and main source of income. So you have a main source of income and you have that small side chick. I don't know why everything that is supporting is called side. So the side dish, side chick, side hustle that supports the real deal, the real meal. Why is a side hustle important? Ladies and gentlemen, you have 24 hours in a day. I wish I could do do this on the screen so you could see it, but please use your imagination. You don't have so much time to be writing up and down. But so assume that your 24 hours is a pie. Divide the pie in 3. One segment of that pie belongs to your employer, 8 hours. The other segment belongs to sleep, rest, rejuvenation. You must sleep to stay alive, 8 hours. For one of those segments, the one that belongs to your employer pays you. He pays you for the 8 hours you give to him. Please explain to me who is paying you for the remaining 16 hours. Who pays you? And you will agree with me that if you do not have a side gig, if you don't have something else that brings in money, it means for 16 hours of the day, you are jonesing. But you are spending money. Because when you sleep, you spend. By being alive, you spend money. You are spending money for 24 hours, but you're only making money for 8 of those hours. And you have been not making money for the past years of your life, from the shape of some of your eyebrows. Some of you look like you're in your 40s. So for over 40 years, 16 hours of every single day, you were supposed to be earning money, but you were not earning. You also remind me that you were a baby for some of those years, but your parents were supposed to have put something aside for you. They did not put. So what did you do to make up for the backlog? Nothing. And then you are continuing in their paths. That is one of the core reasons why you need a side hustle, to augment your revenue, because you are spending money for time that you are not making money. The second reason is the way you make money matters. So again, imagine that you can make money in 3 major ways. You can make money in lump sums. For those who are contractors here, you can have one contract, and it will pay you for 3 years, 5 years. When it hits your account, the account shakes and it goes boom. It's not an alert, it's an alarm. It hits your account and your account is well behaved. That is one way to earn money. Another way to earn money is to earn money monthly, which is what most of us are used to in terms of salaries. So money comes into your account 12 times a year, and maybe one extra one 13th a month, maybe an extra one again, leave allowance, maybe a couple of bonuses here and there, but in reality, it's 12 payments. So in 1 year of 12 months, you earn money 12 times. That's another way of earning money. There's a third way of earning money. you make the money regularly. The money just keeps coming. Your account is excited. You get alerts. You look at your phone. Something is coming in somehow. Every one of these methods of earning money is extremely important because there are certain things you cannot do with trickles of income. There are certain things you cannot do with monthly income. There are certain things you cannot achieve with lump sum payments. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. But the best way to earn money is to earn it from these three different ways. Something is paying you lump sum, something is paying you every month or bi-weekly, something is paying you daily or hourly. Money is just your account respects you. Your account knows that you love it. You show it care. You are speaking the love language of your account, activity, not debits only. That is why you need a side hustle, because your salary or whatever other business you are doing is paying you only in one format. Something else needs to bring money in the other formats. You also diversify your risk when you have a side hustle. There's nothing more painful for someone who has put in his time, his life, his blood, his energy, his youth. Most of us started work, we had all black hair. By the time we are leaving, we have more gray than black. And then someday, your employer just calls you and says, you know what? You have tried, we too, we have tried, come and be going. There is nothing more painful than that when you are not ready to leave. Because you have put your all in that organization. The organization has started leading out operations and has said you must go. Your risk is concentrated. You need to be able to diversify that risk. If your employer says, you've tried, come and go, you say, oh yeah, that's true. It's been a delight working with you. I hope we see you on the other side. You start talking like a CEO. It's very sweet. But you can't if you don't have a side hustle. A side hustle pushes you out of your comfort zone. For many of us, we have been doing the same thing. I was in banking for quite a bit. I did banking to the point that I was seeing customers' instruments in my sleep. In the night, I'll be calling customers' name. Imagine a married woman, you're calling customers' name. In the night, you are calling risk. In the night, you're calling Onyeka. Onyeka used to be our risk manager. He was the one approving credits. You'll be dreaming of Onyeka. In the night, you'll be saying ledger. In the night, you'll be balancing accounts. We did banking until banking was coming out of our ears. That banking became second nature. But when you pick up a side hustle, and that's the same thing for many of us here, when you pick up a side hustle, it throws you out of your comfort zone. You begin to take on bigger responsibilities. You start thinking like a CEO. You are building something. You want something to work. You are responsible as an employer of labor. Without you, people will not feed. Without you, people will not grow. You start thinking big. You start evolving. You start expanding. Your brain begins to work even better than it currently is doing as an employer, as an employee. A side hustle can also activate innate creativity and latent skills that you had no idea about. And those skills, in fact, it is those skills and capabilities that can lead you to endless possibilities. Let me share a story with you. When I resigned, I resigned on I can't remember again. I used to know that date a lot. 4th February 2019, I think. Then I gave 1 month notice. So my last day on the job was 4th of March. I think 4th of March, I think so. 2019, anyway, it was March. When I resigned, I knew what I wanted to do. It was clear. If you see my first complimentary card there, hey, your daddy, who's your daddy? If you see my complimentary card, I had plans. I knew the path was clear. I was going to do this, then I would just do like this, then I would just do like this. At the end of like this, everything will rust, everything will rust too. Oh God. Then life showed me bass and then boost. This was post quitting my job. While on the job, my side gigs, I used to be a baker, as in serious baker. I wouldn't sleep. I remember when I was serving with the petrochemical company, LMN, I used to run shift. So you will end shift at 10 o'clock. By the time you get home, it's like 11:30. I will work on wedding cakes. The next day I'm going to deliver wedding cakes. I have gone to do delivery, cake scattered on the road. I got back home. I'm gonna leave cake story, I beg. As an entrepreneur, you will think you will die if pressure comes. You cannot die. You will stay, you will do it. Customer has paid you, you will deliver. That is what a side hustle does. It expands you to the point where you know that you are an entity that is formidable in yourself. But you can never know if you keep doing only one thing. So that's one of the benefits of a side hustle. It brings out your creativity. You're able to think. You're quickly, consistently solving problems. COVID comes, you can find your way around it. Oh, you put all of your hope in this customer, the transaction didn't work. What are the alternatives? You can quickly pivot and bring solutions. Your customer, your staff resigned unexpectedly without warning. You can quickly take over, etc., etc. That's what a side hustle can introduce you to. A very important aspect of a side hustle is that you can control how much you earn. You earn based on how much work you do, full stop. With your paid employment, there's a limit. It's what your employer says you can earn that you earn. It doesn't matter how many promotions you get. If they said what they will pay you is 2 million, it can't pay you more than 2 million. If you like work 7 times a day, 7 days a week, 100 days a year, nobody cares. It is what they have maxed out for you that you can earn. And finally, a side hustle also gives you a sense of purpose. It pushes you. Here's the thing. If you do your side hustle well, chances are you will perform better on the job because you will begin to think like a CEO. You will begin to hit your deliverables because something is driving you. For me, I remember my last year in banking, no customer could offend me. I couldn't get angry. They lacked the power to upset me because I could see my exit. I was already in exit mode. I was so buoyant. I was boisterous. I was excited. And I kept doing my job. I was hitting deadlines left, right, and center because I had moved on, really. That's the beauty of having a side hustle. And that is why a side hustle is extremely important to your personal finance. Now, I know you're going to ask me, how do I start a side hustle? What are some tips? If we enter the side hustle tip matter, we will not live here today. So I'll just say a few and hope that you can use your tongue to count your teeth. To start a side hustle, please start. Stop overthinking. I have not seen anybody who analyzes as much as somebody who is not ready to start. If you want a million reasons why you should not start, you will find them. But when you are ready to start, none of those reasons will matter. Start. Just start. Fear is your biggest enemy. Move on from wherever it is you are. Start. Number 2, figure out what you love doing. There's something that thrills you, that trips you. And see, I keep saying to people that never in the history of mankind has the world been able to generate as many billionaires out of thin air as the world is currently doing. Everybody is invited to the table. Before now, if you didn't have a great degree, forget about it. Before now, if you didn't have connections, forget about it. But now, you will see nobody, as in nobody. You can see them, they don't know jack. They have zero appeal quality. They cannot speak good English. They cannot even dance. They can't do anything. But these guys are raking in millions from where? Social media. The internet is a master neutralizer. Do you have something? Are you passionate about it? Can you do it? Come and do it. Mosquito is biting me. Mosquito is biting me. Mosquito is biting me. You do a skit and it trends. Before you know, one big bank that you think has quality will come and use you as their brand ambassador. Ogbeni, whatever it is you're doing, shall just start. Start with what you have, where you are, and just start with whatever it is you love doing. You like slicing pepper? Go and put video of how to slice pepper now. Dance while you're slicing the pepper. Start. Number 3, research those who are already doing it. Whatever it is you want to do has been done before. Look for those who are doing it and find a way to improve on what they are currently doing. If you cannot, because you are busy doing a job, if you cannot understudy an existing business, get a mentor. A lot of people come to me and say, Toveri, come and mentor me. I don't even know what that means. Mentor me means as I'm doing my thing, stay by back, just look where they go. With time, you will see where the stones are placed. You must bring something to a mentor to be able to be mentored by a mentor. But I have a lot of people on social media, on the internet, who are mentors to me, who do not even know they are my mentors because I simply watch what they do. So understudy somebody or get a mentor. It's a massive shortcut. Mentors show you the secrets of the trade. Start small. This is number 5. Start small, but plan big. Plan that this your side hustle just might become the main hustle. Start small. Start with where you are, with what you have, with what you know. Start, but plan big. So let your ideas not have boundaries. Plan that this business is going to go beyond the shores of Africa and even beyond the universe to the metaverse. Start. Do your research. Number 7, learn how to sell. See, if you're on this call, and with all due respect to the engineers, the doctors, the everything, all those things you call yourself in the university, I don't know what they mean. Most of those professionals have zero selling skills. And it is the biggest disadvantage you have in the world today, your inability to sell. There's a saying in my place that when a man enters the house, it is the child that stretches out his hands that he will receive first. That is selling. On the job, some people will be promoted before you because they have sold. While you are doing chu-chu-chu, they have moved on, they have sold, they understand the market. Understand sales. Selling skills is a major topic on its own. Please go and learn it. Pay money, learn, practice it, but sell. Because you will need to sell your product, you will need to sell your services. Learn to leverage. Leveraging is multifaceted. There are so many ways you can leverage. Leverage on people who are already doing the business. Collaborate with them. Use people. Use teams. Use the power of the network you've already built. Leverage on everything you have, all the knowledge you have, all of the commitments you've made in the past, people who love you. Leverage on all of that and start your side hustle. Major on your major. This is going to sound funny, but please, major on your major and minor in your minor. There are some things you cannot do. Why are you killing yourself trying to do it? I hear it's not a pro. I have someone, she's a business owner, and she says, so, but why do I need a web designer? I can design this thing. I will go on YouTube, I'll learn how to do web. I can do websites. Oh, why do I need to pay a graphic designer? I can do graphics. Why should I do graphics? Why? That's not the one doing me. I have a market to do. I have a business to run. Why should I be bothered with the minutiae? I sell out those things and the business pays for it. Please, if you're one of those who wants to be a master of all things, it will slow you down on the path to mastery. Use existing assets. And by the way, for those of you who are in paid employment, your biggest asset, your experience, your knowledge, your contacts, your corporate governance skills, all of that experience, management skills, those are your real experiences. You must use those experiences to start your side hustle. Not necessarily money. You don't really need money to start a side hustle. Money is good, but people have started and prospered without money. Any day you meet me one-on-one, I'll tell you my story of what actually funded my side hustle. Okay. Finally, collaborate with the businesses that are already there. You have something that many people don't have. Many people have what you don't have. Meet with people. Improve on your interpersonal skills. Go to people and say, look, you do this, I can do this for you. Let's collaborate and begin to build your side hustle. Finally, before we wrap this up today, I just want to say some mistakes, a few mistakes. One of my books has 21 of them, and those mistakes are so real. In fact, people are still making the mistakes till today. Please, you can avoid those mistakes. But if there's no other mistake you will not remember, or that you will forget, please don't forget this one. Do not steal from your employer. If you're working for someone, there's a law of retributive justice, and it is real. Don't steal from your employer. Don't steal your employer's time. Don't steal your employer's clients. Don't do sloppy work for your employer. Don't use your employer's resources for your business simply because you're doing a side hustle. It's not worth it. Your employer knows. Believe me, your employers can see everything you do. And you will need your employers when you eventually launch out. I still have an amazing rapport with my former employers, but that's because while I was with them, I brought value to the table and I tried to be as fair as possible. When you start a side hustle, a second mistake you should avoid is overloading yourself. Some people, they run all over the place, kitty, kitty, kata, kata, because you want to bam, you don't need to bam in one day. It takes time. Don't try to do everything at once. Pace it out. Number 3 mistake, unrealistic expectations. Please be reasonable. I really wish we had time. We'll talk about some of this, but we don't. So I'll just list them out and I hope you can make sense of them. Don't be unrealistic with your expectations of revenue, you're unrealistic with your expectations of lost loans. Don't be unrealistic. Set realistic expectations. Number 4, keep an eye on your costs. One mistake most people make is because you're earning a salary, the salary keeps coming. When your business is not making profit, you are slow to know because you keep pumping funds into it. It's like constantly feeding shareholders' funds into the business. It means you don't have a business. You're just pumping money after a hobby. It's not a business. If it's a side business, you must understand your numbers and manage your costs. Number 5, quitting. You don't need to keep quitting. Some people, they'll try 2 days, 3 days, it no work. I beg. This will not be the one where I come to, I beg. I not feed you again. And they quit. You can never know how big a tree will grow if you keep uprooting it because it's not growing as fast as the corn or the yam you planted it same day with. Number 6, poor pricing. Pricing is a topic on its own, but price appropriately. If not, your business is dead on arrival. Number 8 is common sense, poor service. You think really that you will give lousy customer service as an employee and suddenly as a CEO, you will give excellent customer service. Foul. It's not possible. Mistake number 8, partnership. Beware of partnerships. Many a people have died. Many a people have been killed. Many a relationship has been destroyed due to partnership. He is a great brother. It's not equal to he's a great business partner. Please, he's not. He's my darling friend. He was my best man at my wedding. Does not therefore equals to a great partner in business. In fact, if you can do without partnerships, try and grow your business yourself. When the business is big enough, you can share, you can sell some bit of equity. Partnership is another demon on its own. Some work, some do work, but I can tell you that in the ones that work, someone has chosen to be the footmat and someone has chosen to be the foot. Finally, the last and most disastrous mistake you can make in your side hustle business is not having a clear plan for the extra income. Because when you do your side hustle money is one of the sweetest money to spend. Ask side chicks, when money comes for you as a side chick, it is sweet to spend. It is that kind of money you used to buy iPhone 15 that they've not yet done. It is that kind of money you used to buy 15 bone straight at once. But money that you worked for, please don't spend it as if you did not work for it, simply because it's not salary. You must have a clear plan for it because that's where the business will grow from. Ladies and gentlemen, I have said a lot tonight, but I do hope, and there are a lot of things I did not also say, but I do hope that with the few things I have said, you will agree to set up your side hustle and grow it till it becomes your main hustle. Thank you very much, and it's over to you, Zubi.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tobore. I think you just basically gingered my fancy right now. I've started researching the internet actually to look for a side hustle so that I can start hustling like you. But thank you very much, and I know you did make some very, very great points. So the way we're going to go about this is I'll just kind of run over some of the things that some points that you made, and then open up for some questions. Though before we open up for some questions, I'll use the opportunity to just share some personal, experience as well to help us, because sometimes some people, when you have this type of webinars, would always take that stance that it's because it happened for you, it's because your father worked in Shell. I mean, I don't know if your dad worked in Shell, but if you're a Port Harcourt child, maybe your dad worked in Shell or so. It's because your father was executive director in a bank, or because you knew someone in the bank and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't always work that way. But you did start out, though on a very, very scary, in fact, to be honest with you, you scared me, actually with your first 10 questions, but I think it paid off because it kind of jolts us into reality. I do remember the very first time when I was to deploy, in the Air Force, and they asked me to write a will, coming with that Nigerian mentality, I was like, I'm not going to die in Jesus' name. Why do I need to write a will? But, the lawyers there, the military lawyers there told me it is necessary because anything can happen, and it became very, very pertinent. So I think it's very, very important that, you pointed that out. But more importantly is the other aspects that you pointed out in terms of, the monies that we need to, if we haven't already started planning for it, we need to start planning for it, and I definitely resonate with what you're talking about. I have a son who is in college, in university right now, and I know when he was going back, thank God Austin is the godfather, so I was able to reach out to him. But like the bottom, no, I haven't even reached out to him yet. So Austin, be on the watch out, because school fees time don't they reach, but it's very, very important for us to put all these things into perspective, not to scare us, but to help us do the planning, because like you said, what you don't know, actually impacts on you. But if you do know, then you know where to focus on and all those stuff. I found very, very resonating, the different steps that you've given for us to be able to pick up, side hustle, pick up the side hustle and do things well, things like, pushing, getting the side hustles basically push us out of our comfort zone. And I must confess, yes, it does, because, having been in banking as well, at the time, I just never really believed that there was anything outside of banking, I never believed that, and then because of that, you become kind of very much enslaved, to that. So side hustles are definitely, obviously, really, really push you out of your comfort zones. And I'll give you a great example. When I when I started out in Standard Trust Bank those years, I don't know, nowadays they don't do it anymore, but they do give, upfronts those days, and I did have a couple of my friends who the end thing then was for us to buy Mercedes-Benz regular as young bankers, but there's one thing I used to do with my very first upfront that I got from Standard Trust Bank. I met a friend, I collaborated with a friend of mine who goes to buy cars in Belgium, and I'll close from work on Friday, drive straight to Murtala Mohammed Airport, fly to Brussels that Friday night, go to the auction in Antwerp, in Boom, Antwerp, on Saturday morning, party in Antwerp that Saturday night, and then the next morning I bought a flight from Brussels back to Lagos and go to work on Monday, and nobody would even know that I stepped out of the country, and then I'll ship the cars and I'll sell it and all those stuff. And then of course people will look at you and say, oh, you are stealing money from the bank, not knowing that you are actually doing things, basically. So side hustles come in different ways and manners. You did mention that you don't really need cash. You can use the assets that you have. You can basically utilize the assets that you have. Austin, when introducing me, said something that I have driven cabs, and he wasn't joking about it. And I'm going to share something with you guys. I have this, you can see my screen, right? I just did this very quickly when you were talking so that we can look at this. Employer, sleep, hustle. It's very, very important. I just opened up my app. This is my Uber app, that I had, when Uber just started. There were two serious reasons why I did this. At that particular point in time, I needed to raise capital. In fact, most of the monies that I have invested today in Nigeria came from driving Uber. Now, why I'm sharing this is I haven't driven in a while, so I just opened the app now and found out that my stuff is expired, so I'll probably have to renew it, But just to clarify, this is me. I drove. In fact, like as the time I did it, I drove like 1,633 rides. I didn't even know that I did that. My customer service was so awesome that my rating is always 5. And I did it for 2 years plus, you know, but I was doing it not because it was something that came as a result of that I must do it, but because I had a plan. And the plan I had was basically, this is one quick way. I close from work. In fact, the way it started was, I'll close from work in Washington, D.C. The traffic is so crazy. So sometimes I see myself sitting down in the office, doing nothing, just watching the internet and all this kind of stuff, you know? But I found out that during that high traffic period, you know, they pay more if you're driving Uber. So I said, I have the car. I don't have the shame. What's my own? I signed up, like play. By the time I did it for 1 week, you know, in 1 week, I made like 1,000 something, which was not even anywhere near what I would make walking, you know, and I started doing it and I did it for 2 years. And I'm sharing this here because, you know, a lot of people look at things, look at you and just see the success, but not necessarily see the steps that you go through to get to those success. But above all, you know, we're about to launch Viva in Nigeria. Viva is like Uber. It's going to be one of the greatest competitions that Bolt and the rest of them will have. But I'm a co-founder. I'm a programmer. But where did I get the idea of Viva? It was from the side hustle of driving Uber in America. I'm sure a lot of people will not believe these stories, but like, that's why I'm showing this here. This is not a made up thing. So that when we come and tell you things like this, we're not telling you to do things that we have not done. We're telling you to do things that we have done because we have done it and we have been successful, you know? So there's nothing stops you. Tomorrow, if it is time to sign up to drive for Viva, you know, nothing stops you from signing up to drive, as long as you have a plan, you know, that kind of stuff. But I don't want to take so much time. I want to give people the opportunity to ask questions and all those stuff. But I just wanted to use my own life story to, you know, buttress some of the points that you have made. One of the points that you made was use existing assets. And that's why I wanted to use this whole Uber thing. I had a car, I had the time, I had a job, existing assets. And to a very great extent, I'll tell you, 90% of the investment I've made in Nigeria today and in Africa today started out from me driving Uber, believe it or not. So let me give the opportunity for people to ask questions. But before I finalize that, there's one, before I get into that, let me finalize this whole roundup. You made a point, and that is, you know, that there are a whole lot of opportunities in Nigeria, right now, especially in Africa. And if I just go back to sharing my screen again, sorry, let me just quickly stop this sharing and then I'll share this slide again. I brought this slide up. As of 2021, there was a foreign direct investment. The foreign direct investment in Nigeria increased by $1.5 million. And my question that I ask is, what is it that these foreigners are seeing in Nigeria that we are not seeing? So there are a whole lot of opportunities, but like you rightly said, you have to start small. You have to, you know, have a growth plan. You know, you don't bam bam overnight, and that is the thing that actually just, you know, causes the extraordinary dorime that we see in Nigeria today, you know, and all the kind of nonsense that goes on. But thank you very much, Tobore, because you actually did a very great job, you know, with this. And I would like to now open up the floor for questions. If you do have any questions, you can either type it or you can basically, you know, put up your hands and I will acknowledge you to ask the questions.
Thank you very much, Zubi, and thanks for sharing your experience with all of us as well. I told my stories. In fact, there were so many stories I couldn't share in my book because of confidentiality issues. What I say to everybody is that your story, while I'm waiting for the questions, please bring them on. Your stories are sweeter when you go through the process. Zubi's story is sweet because he went through the process. If I had come here and said, well, you see, my father was a big man, my mother was a big man. Those of na papa, mama not get money. I don't know how they do, but it's good to have a father who's a big man and a mother who is a big man because today I'm a big babe. I would have had only like 4 people on this call. Maybe me and Austin. Austin would have even said the meeting. Zubi would have logged out because the story would have been boring. But when you have a story, and I say to everyone who is working, while you are working, you are building a massive treasure trove of experience. That experience will become your consultancy tool tomorrow. That experience will become your best-selling book tomorrow. Most of these books have sold over 1,000 copies of these books. It is because of my stories. It's not because it's even there inside the book. People are not even reading the books because they want to read. They want to partake of my story. My story on how I started writing is another story entirely. There's nowhere you will see me before now with the word writer attached to me. I am not a writer. I always believed I was a speaker, not a writer. I don't have any award for writing. But today, in the space of how many months, I've written so many books. Another book is coming out in September. I have become a writer because that's what a side hustle does. And by the way, writing is a side hustle to financial planning. Your side hustles don't end, but you've got to start. You have to start and start where you are. Start afraid, start falling, but start because every single thing builds up to the masterpiece that is the story of your life. I say to you, your experiences, your mistakes, all of the pain, the shame, the pain, all of the ignominy that comes from the job, all of those horrible experiences, they are the different colors of the paintbrush on that's your backdrop of your life. That is a blank, what's the word? What's that thing that painters used to draw? It's just like it's a blank canvas, yeah. So it is all of these mistakes that will turn your blank canvas into the masterpiece that your life was designed to be. Convert the pain. I had a session with a client. She shared with me, because again, I'm a financial planner. I am privy to a lot of information, but confidentiality will not allow me share most of it, which is fine. But this client sat with me. Our pain was visceral. I could feel the pain. This was like 18 years after the trauma. And I said to her, Madam, is there a reason you do not have a bestseller out in the market? Your story is what women are going through. For goodness sake, go and write that book and launch it. She had never thought that that pain was a story. She's in the final chapter. The book is with the editing team. When that book is released, unfortunately, I cannot market the book for her because you'll be able to understand that it is her story I'm talking about. But she's got a story. That book will sell itself. She's been through hell. Whatever it is, all of you on this call, if you add it together, it is not up to 1/10 of what that woman has been through. She's been to hell back and forth, but she's still standing. She's still thriving. She's going to release the book, and that is what all of this is about. Your ability to go in there, dig deep, and launch yourself. You are a masterpiece. And by the way, I'm not a motivational speaker. I don't want to motivate you. If you like, don't motivate yourself. Sure, you see those no's you did at the beginning. There will remain no's. They will not turn to yeses by any miracle. You need to go in there and say to yourself, I can, I will, I must, and then get right to it. Zubi, I'm not sure anybody has any questions.
Yeah, so there are two things here. Is either you have done an exceptionally good job, or you have completely, bamboozled us to the point where we are speechless. But we will, I'm sure questions will come, and let me actually start basically by throwing some ball into the ring. Now, you basically were in banking, and then you basically left banking, and you actually gave example of you going through thick and thin, even after you left banking to start up your side hustle. I don't know at what point in your career you kind of pivoted into completely doing your side hustle. But the question I want to ask, which probably might resonate in people's minds, is, when is it too late to start? And I'm using this very negative, rhetorical question, so to say. Is it too late to start? If it's not too late to start, when is the ideal time to basically, let's assume you have a job, when is the ideal time to basically pivot, and completely focus on your side hustle?
Okay, thanks, Zubi. I like to say to people, the best time to start a side hustle is even before you start working. I have someone on this call. His name is Shevio Inaho. His mother taught me how to sew. I was sewing with Auntie Agnes as a young girl. And when I was working with Auntie Agnes, I wasn't working as a side hustle. I was picking up a skill. I didn't have sewing skills, because a lot of people say, oh, it's in you, you know how to sew, you know how to bake. Story. My father was a staff, God rest his soul. He was a staff of University of Port Harcourt. For those of you who grew up in Uniport in those days, it's not the Uniport of today. My father was a non-academic staff. We were the people that understood the meaning of sokis. Sokis, I don't know what people are soaking. I see my children, they'll soak gari, they'll receive they'll put sugar, put milk. My son will put Milo. I said, I don't know why you're drinking. No, that's not sokis. Sokis is you will put the gari in the water, you will leave it, it will expatiate exponentially. Then you will not add water again. Then it gets to the approved level. Then you put your 1 cube, it's 1 cube of sugar, right? You put it, then you will sprinkle the groundnut, was measured by the cupful. I am not kidding you. If any of my siblings, Shevia knows how far. I'm using Shevia because his mother was instrumental to the answer to this question. Begin to inculcate the essence of a side hustle in your children. All of my children are beginning. My last born has public speaking innate skills. I'm introducing her to public speaking already. She's a drama queen. Coco can act for the world. And I've started introducing her to acting. So she will start acting, to stage performance. My son will use my data to be coding up and down. So he's learning coding. My first daughter, if she fries puff puff for you, Zubi, you will relocate from the US to Nigeria. Her puff puff put mine to shame. What does this mean? And again, I am introducing all of them to the concept that it is actually possible for your parents to leave this world when you are not prepared. And I've explained to them that some children you see on the streets do not have parents. They are on the streets because that's where life puts them. And it can happen to anybody. Therefore, the time to start a side hustle or to begin to introduce the concept of a side hustle is from the day you have sense. 7 years, 6 years, whatever age it is. My kids were a lot younger when I started introducing them to the concept of, but they are not making money from it. My daughter edited one of my books. In fact, there's a lot really in that space. What does this mean? By the time they are 16, they're going to start earning money before they start a proper job, because I did it. And that is the best time to start, because once you get into the school thing is like a funnel. Once you enter, you were primary school, you enter secondary school, you enter university. Somehow your parents just keep guiding you along that path and opportunities are lost. However, for those who did not start, once you start a job, understand that there is a terminal date for that salary. When you know that, calculate how many salaries you can possibly earn. Divide it by whatever it is, whatever factor, and understand that you are not well paid. Begin a side hustle. From the day, your parents should have introduced you to it, but since they did not, from the day you got a job. The next best time is today. Get off this call with the concept of a side hustle if you have not started. And is there a time that it is too late? The time that it is too late to get a side hustle is not even when you are there. Even when you are there, it's not too late. A lot of people are still making money posthumously. People are making money from Michael Jackson. He's already dead. So you can keep making money even after death, but other people will be spending it for you. So Zubi, really, it's never too late. Never.
All right.
But
Thank you
you
very
can start
much.
anytime.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have a question here, and this is from Chev. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but the question is basically asking for a recommendation for a reputable financial broker. So I mean, I don't know if you want to take that, or if you want to ask them to contact you on the contact information that we have showing right now.
So that's the shape I mentioned. By the way, let me bust it. Let me Shaves, I've already told everybody who you are. That's the shape. It's Shavio. Because again, this is a recorded meeting. I may not be at liberty to advertise any brand. But you can reach out to me and I'll recommend some, because when you say a financial broker, it depends on what aspect of the financial brokerage you're referring to. I can refer you to a couple of them and you can take it from there. I work with several of them. Chev, I hope I've answered your question.
Okay.
Yes,
great.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. So while we're still waiting for questions to come in, and hopefully we're not running out of time. I don't know how much more time we have. Austin, you can advise me on how much more time we have. But my dear still siblings, it's important for us to engage and ask questions at this particular point in time. If you do have any questions, okay, we have 5 minutes to go. All right, so I guess if we have 5 minutes to go, then we'll probably have to start rounding up. It's important for me to note that that Tobore is not a still sibling. She didn't attend DSC Technical High School, and for the first time, I think this is the first time we're actually having a non-alumnus, non-alumni, coming to present to us. I don't know, Tobore, if you have any roundup points to make, and then I can hand over to Austin, and we'll take it from there.
Oh, okay. Let me just say thank you to, and you said I am not a DSC THS alumna.
JD, wait now.
JD, why now, JD? I am by association, and this brings me to what this is what I will close with. Okay. The power of your network. Every single human being you will meet is I like to refer to people as portals, is a portal to a part of the universe you would otherwise not have access to. If I was not friendly with Austin when I used to go on vacations in DSC in those days, I wouldn't be on this call. If Austin did not remember me for good, he wouldn't invite me here. If I didn't come here, I wouldn't meet Zubia Boyful. Now, even if Austin and I quarrel forever, he cannot block the portal of my meeting you, Zubi. I don't know if you understand. That is the power of your network. Use people to get access to people you would otherwise never have access to. Do not bear unnecessary grudges. Some grudges are important, like the one between God and devil, but any other one is not as important. Try to build bridges, not walls, because you will need them in your side hustle. The networking ability of the human person is your biggest asset. And that is me saying, thank you very much for your time, your data, and your attention. It's been such a delight speaking to you today. Over to you, Zubi.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Tobore, for that very wonderful expose on side hustle and personal finance. I cannot over reiterate the importance of you looking at these two things from these two aspects. There is the side hustle and there is a personal finance. So what is the purpose of your side hustle? Are you side hustling so that you can keep funding side chicks or side guys? Or are you side hustling so that you'll be able to actually get to the level of financial liberation? For me, I think I'll choose the second part of it. focus on the side hustle and make plans for what you want to utilize it for. At this point, let me hand over to Austin, and then we can come back and close. Austin.
Yeah, thank you very much, Zubi, for the moderation. I want to say a very big thank you to Tobore. Tobore has been a friend, family friend for many, many years. I was sharing with Zubi before this call the first time I landed in Port Harcourt and how I survived. But it's a very long story. But Tobore, thank you very, very much. We are very grateful for this expose. And like Zubi said, some people, the no's and the yes are forming improper fraction and different kinds of scares for different people. I think these are very important questions. Thank you very much for the expose. Thank you very much for the awakening. We're grateful for your time. We see your contacts right on the screen. For those of us that want to move to the next level, I'm sure we will contact you ASAP so that we will move out of the financial crisis. Once again, thank you very much. And for all those who have taken time to be here this evening, count yourself as fortunate to be in this discussion. And I wish you all the best. Beginning of 2022, whether you are planning your finance or plugging a side hustle into it, you have what it takes to start. Thank you very much, Zubi. Thank you very much, Tobore, for a wonderful evening. And TMMS wishes you a wonderful 2022, and we hope to see you in the next webinar. Thank you very much. And you can
Thank you, Ostino.
You can stay back and network for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, let me just use this opportunity to answer a personal chat someone sent to me, in terms of like, how do I drive Uber if I don't have a car? I think that's a very good question that you have asked. And I don't intend to advertise Viva, but that is, for example, that's one of the things that we're trying to solve, a situation where we would actually link up you to the opportunity to own a car and pay for that car from driving, doing the whole ride share stuff. So if you want to get more about that, you can actually contact me later on and I'll give you some more details. You can just look out for the Viva when it comes out, and you can either sign up as a rider or sign up as a driver. Either way, it's going to be a win-win for everyone. So now networking within now, Austin, make I begin tell the story of our hustle those days for worry.
No, when Tobore was talking about delivering crash cake, I remembered us delivering programs.
Okay, harvest program.
Harvest program for 6 a.m. mass.
For 6 a.m. mass. Or what about that printing contract where they don't pay us for that catering service in Warri? I don't want to mention the name.
No, the name is withheld.
Anyways,
that is life. Thanks, I appreciate the good work.
Oh, hey, Dr. Oshoma, Professor Oshoma, I greet you, sir.
Hello. This was a good one. I did work, but for God, I did hear everything. I said, no, it's right.
So I hope you will go back and count your nose.
So, what I go do now? All my time also now. If you come and say, "Man, come meet you by tomorrow." Anyhow, go follow night bus come meet. I don't even come by air.
Oshona, man. I'll come register with your school now. Since you did there, now it go easy for me to just get PhD now.
You go do the needful. So long the wheel there, you don't get problem. I really identify with your story because that's the reality. When that time when they say Buhari say Nigerians they lazy, in fairness, now we never come out, see how things they work. Now I come back with realize actually we have lots of time that it's spare that we can put into productive use. So I wish to turn us all around. There's no pride to it. You remember those days for worry? You go see Igbo man, they hustle Monday to Friday. You go dirty with oil with the hustle. But on Sunday, when you go post with your chain for neck, all the money in your pockets.
Yeah, you don't go know. Yeah.
That time. And thank
Sure.
Spirit.
Good evening.
Question.
Sophie,
Hello.
thank you.
So, hey, Julie, how far now?
Hi, dear buddy. Thank you very
I
much.
see the way you where you abandon me now. I don't send you my account number. I'll make you just alert me. I better make God win.
Okay, then. Just a quick one. Are we going to get the recording though of this?
Yes.
Okay.
We will. Okay. Azubike, I will answer. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Thanks.